In wanting to become a firefighter, I took this on specifically because I wanted to see young kids who were either from my area or who look like me or who've gone through it. I wanted them to see me. You can take this on. And also, you know, seeing people like yourself, seeing people like you can rise up the ranks if you really want to. It's all there for you. There is no pathway blocked to you. When you take that uniform off, you can be treated a little bit differently in some people's eyes. And that's a challenge we all face really in terms of on a daily basis really, that subtlety, whether somebody does appreciate who you are or does feel like you're a valued member of the community. One thing about Liverpool is that we tend to be a pretty tight-knit community, race aside, right? And the one thing that binds us all is our rather unique accent. If you turn up at a job, if you turn up in a community and people hear that you're a Scouser, it's quite easy, it breaks down a lot of barriers straight away. So again, if we talk about some of your daily roles and your activity working within the community in terms of that engagement and stuff, how do you find that and stuff? And are communities engaging with yourself? Do you ever see any issues when you knock on a door and think, oh, there might be an issue because of my colour, or do you ever encountered anybody that doesn't want your help or anything like that? The one thing about Liverpool is that we tend to be a pretty tight-knit community, race aside, right? And the one thing that binds us all is our rather unique accent. Yeah. So if you turn up at a job, if you turn up in a community and people hear that you're a Scouser, it's quite easy, it breaks down a lot of barriers straight away. It's a very good icebreaker where, you know, people all automatically think, yeah, okay, this is somebody who gets what I get, if you know what I mean. So yeah. It's quite... it's almost something I think unique to us as a city, isn't it? That Liverpool identity, and again, despite how we look visually, I think that sort of accent sort of binds us all together, doesn't it? And we all have similar experiences, really. From my own perspective as well, I think it's the badge that opens a lot of doors, isn't it? As well, obviously, more often than not, people are like really pleased to see the fire service because we're there to come and help them, and they're in sort of dire need potentially. And I think if it's more subtlety around that, I suppose, is like when I finish my job and I take that uniform off, you'd sort of lose that gravitas or that kudos of wearing a badge, and people don't see you as a firefighter anymore. You're just a black man again, aren't you? Well, also being a local firefighter and kind of, once they kind of cotton onto the fact that you know their city, you're from their city and stuff like that, it does help. It does help. There's, you know, I've seen that firsthand. So
I think the badge, it carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? It opens plenty of doors, as we know, really. And I think that's the interesting thing in terms, from personal perspective, is that, as I say, when you take that uniform off, you can be treated a little bit differently in some people's eyes. And that's a challenge we all face, really, in terms of on a daily basis, really, that subtlety, whether somebody does appreciate who you are or does feel like you're a valued member of the community. But when you wear this badge, I think that sort of gets you into a lot of doors where ordinarily people might not want to engage with you, really.
The one thing I've noticed coming in brand new is that there seem to be a lot of people in higher ranked roles now, in newer people that are of diverse backgrounds, which again I see as a positive, because I feel that people in those roles, especially if you've got kind of like similar life experiences, can empathise with maybe things that I've been through in life, or I might be going through in my career or something like that. But past a certain point, and not the rank structure, most of the people who are in higher positions are exclusively white. That's what I've noticed.
Again, I think that's something the Reach Network has sort of identified, if I'm being honest, and again, the organisation is sort of aware it needs to make improvements in that regard. We've obviously looked at creating a new policy in terms of our engagement, really, and sort of trying to improve the percentage and understanding why it is what it is. If you just highlighted earlier, why are the barriers to people going for promotion for people of colour, Are the things that are stopping them? Is there a lack of support? But these are things that we were sort of being involved in to a certain extent to try and sort of understand why and whether there's anything we can do to sort of improve that, really.
Well, like I say, it's like I'm brand new, so I'm probably looking at these with fresher eyes than some people. The one thing I have noticed is that there does obviously seem to be a desire to introduce more diversity into those higher roles, because there are people now who are kind of in those roles that, again, a lot of people might see themselves in, if you know what I mean. We'll talk about that thing about reflection, being able to see yourself reflected in other roles and stuff.
And again, I think it's about being honest and having some transparency there, really. I think obviously that was identified by the HMI's visit the last time they come, and it said that the service could make improvements in that regard. It was one of the areas that we sort of could improve upon, really. And again, we've had some conversations with senior management, and we've had that support, and he was very supportive in creating a network. But again, that doesn't mean that we still got lots of challenges to sort of try and solve and improve, because things are better than what they were. But again, there's a lot of opportunity for it to get better. Just doing your job on a daily basis and interacting with other agencies and all parts of the community, really. You don't realise, but you're selling the organisation without even knowing it, really. And every time I meet somebody, I'm quite mindful of that. That's their perception of the fire service, really. And that's something that always sticks with me, about sort of treating people right and making sure that we're professional and doing the right job. But in terms of the promotion, you're right. It was just something I wanted to just challenge myself. And again, I don't have any ultimate ambition to get to a certain level. It's just it's quite a holistic approach, really. Just do the next step and just try and learn each day and stuff.
That you know that the next step is open to you.
It is, yeah.
And the only way you can know the next step's open to you is if you see somebody who's like you, who's took the next step. And that's I think that's important for every firefighter in general. But like, you know, people who are from diverse cultures, if they can see themselves in the roles that they'd like to be in, you know what I mean, it's going to make a massive difference.
Again, going back to what you said previously when we were talking, I think you're 100% right. I think especially that sort of senior manager role, I think seeing somebody in that role, someone similar to yourself, can do a lot. It's sort of without sort of actually saying anything, it can mean a lot. And I think I don't know where personally where I will end up, but I don't see that. I don't see like there's any limits on what I can achieve, really. And I think that's a positive, and I think that it is a good thing, really. Just knowing that if you work hard enough and you sort of put the effort in, again, it's a journey, isn't it? We all make mistakes, and you'll probably learn more from your mistakes and stuff. But yeah, ultimately, I do know that there is the possibility if I work hard and sort of do what's expected of me.
That'd be the worst thing. I mean, the way you just said that there is the possibility. The worst thing would be to think that there wasn't a possibility and there was an obstruction in front of you and stuff like that. So it's I agree completely, like, you know what I mean. And
again, that might be a positive thing, because I think there was only a crew manager at that time when I joined. There was nobody else who was in a sort of a management role. So I think that, again, that says a lot about where the organisation was at that time. And if you bring that forward like 20 years, again, nowhere near enough.
But still work to do, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot better than what it was. And I think if you spoke to other colleagues who've gone for promotion, again, in terms of being honest and transparent, again, there's still some hurdles for people that maybe they thought they were being treated a little bit differently from maybe other colleagues and stuff. But generally speaking, I think there's been a lot of improvement, but a lot of improvement still to be done.
Yeah, definitely. In your role, I mean, because, you know, obviously I look at you now and I'm seeing, like, I'm brand new and I'm seeing like a Black Watch manager, you know what I mean? And you know, hopefully you'll progress in further. Do you see yourself as an inspiration? Because I know in taking on this job, in wanting to become a firefighter, an inspiration to people of colour or, you know, diverse groups, because like I took this on specifically because I wanted to see young kids who are either from my area or who look like me or who've gone through I wanted them to see me and act like some kind of like, you know, an idea that, do you know what, right? You can be there, you can get here, you can take this on. And also, you know, seeing people like yourself, seeing people like Uche, you can rise up the ranks if you really want to. It's all there for you. There is no pathway blocked to you. Do you see yourself in that respect?
Yeah, I think I never set out with the reason of going for promotion to sort of be a role model or being an influence on people within the community, really. If I'm being really honest, I think it was just a personal decision for my own career, really, and my own family.
Yeah.
So
I suppose the opposite is that it was in my mind. I did want to inspire. I did want those kids who were in that area to see me on the trucks. I want them to see me out in the community. I want them to see me doing good, and I want them to kind of look at that and think, yeah, you know what I mean, maybe that is for them. I mean, we know ourselves like that. In terms of being a firefighter, it's probably something that's in you and you want to do yourself like that. But I'd just love to be the person that kind of, if a kid came up to me in 20 years' time and said, do you know what, I saw you as a firefighter and it made me think, yeah, I do that, that'd kind of make me feel great, to be honest.